Thank you for joining us on the Family First Life Health and Wealth podcast. Please like us on all of our platforms at Family First Life Health and Wealth. I hope this information helps you grow and learn. Please share this with everybody you know, all your friends, all your family. We're hiring all across the country. Be well. Welcome, everyone. Episode 10 of the Health and Wealth podcast. My name is Steve Giordano. Very, very excited, fired up this evening to be coming at you live. We are going to be talking tonight about the unscripted phone script. We talk a lot about a phone script at FFL, and tonight we're going to break it down and get into the what I like to call the unscripted version. And really, the way I like to categorize it is how it's a conversation as opposed to a script. And I think there's a lot of psychology and things that go into your phone, and I really want to break them down because I think there's some misconceptions on the phone, and we just want to put everybody in the best position to win and get good at the phone. So number one, I think everybody has to come to terms that the phone is the answer to all of your problems. Nobody likes to dial. If anybody tells you that they like to dial, they're flatline to you. I hate dialing, but it is a necessary thing that will create appointments. It will create you getting in front of people. It will create you going out, protecting families, selling a lot of insurance. And, you know, a lot of times on this podcast, I like to talk in the realm of entrepreneurship and go a little bit beyond Family First Life. And if you look at the phones in any type of sales position, the only way you're going to make money is by finding people that want a product that you're providing, a service that you're serving with, and you need to basically attack getting to those people. We have a great, obviously, system and platform here because the fact of the matter is what we do, people fill out requests, whether it be direct mail, whether it be online, Facebook, Google, you name it. We have it, live call transfers. People are filling out things where they're looking for our help. And then we have to get back to them in a timely manner. So this way we can get them what they're looking for. Because I think the one thing you need to think about is think about you and when you want something, right? We all have things that we're looking for. Obviously, in today's day and age, you can get whatever you want, whenever you want. You know, Amazon, you can look at the amount of online retailers and then also the social media component. So there's some things in your phone and some things on Facebook and some things just in general that will trigger where when you are looking for something, then all of a sudden it pops up to the point, and it's kind of scary. I feel sometimes you start thinking about things, and then all of a sudden you'll be on Facebook and you'll see the ad for sneakers or a hat or whatever it is that you're thinking about. So I don't want to get into too many conspiracy theories, but when you want something, you're going to then see it, hear it, and it's going to be front and center. The reason I talk about that is because if you're an agent here at FFL and you're buying leads every week and you understand that sometimes you'll call some leads and they'll tell you, I either took care of it, have it, you know, did it already, whatever. You got to understand when you buy your leads, how you have to attack your leads. Because again, when someone wants something, they are going to find a way to get it, and they're going to find a way to get it quickly. So if you're the type of agent, or in general, just in business in general, the type of person that's going to sit back and not get to these people quickly, you're playing a deadly game. You're playing with fire. Because these people, when they want something, they want to protect their family, they want life insurance, they're going to do it. They're not going to wait around for Steve to call them 5 days later. So the first thing I want everybody to understand as we get into the actual phone component is the psychology around when you get leads, you need to call leads like it is, like your hair's on fire. You know, when they come to me, you know, in the CRM or the inbox or, you know, whatever, wherever they're coming from, I jump on leads immediately because in my brain, I'm saying to myself, if I don't call them, somebody is. Or they're going to go look for insurance on this website or that website or somewhere else. So the first thing I want everybody to really, really think about is when I buy leads and when I get leads, I call leads, okay? If you can just do that part of it, you're going to win a lot of battles because you're going to get to those people quickly. Now, the other thing we got to think about here is the psychology of people that fill in forms and are looking for things online, right? They're people that they don't necessarily know where to go for the help. So they see something somewhere, came in their mailbox, came in on their Facebook feed, came somewhere. They are looking for help. Now, you, me, a lot of people we know, we might need insurance and we might just go Google and look up whatever, Progressive for car insurance. Let's use that as an example. We wouldn't necessarily respond back to something that was sent to us, right? So you got to understand where people are coming from, and I think this is important because then when you call them, you kind of understand. If you don't understand where they're coming from, you can understand where you need to take them so you guys can be on the same wavelength because that's the psychology of the phone, who filled out what. And you also have to understand that people that fill things out, they will get multiple calls. So when you get the nasty, oh, I took care of it, or I this, or I that, or whatever it is, understand that these people will fill out multiple things. So it means basically that they're going to get a lot of calls. And those are just the type of people that they are. They just fill a lot of stuff out. It's fine. No big deal. It's honestly to our benefit because if they didn't fill anything out, if nobody ever filled anything out, we'd be out of business. We'd make no money. So we need to be very, very happy that people fill things out. So understand that psychology when you call people because it's just going to make things that much easier for you. So if you're sitting down Monday, Thursday, getting ready to dial, you know, I've talked about it a million times. We'll say it again. You know, your job needs to be at 8 o'clock in the morning to have your stack of leads set, ready to go, an abundance of them. And in your brain, say to yourself, I'm going to book 30%. If I book 30%, I'm golden. So what do? You buy enough leads so this way you can play the 30% role. So everybody kind of map that out. Whenever somebody says, hey, how much do I spend in leads? How much do I buy? How much should I have? Figure out how many appointments you want and then play a 30% rule, okay? And then you'll pretty much, for the most part, if you do all the little things that we always talk about and that we're going to go over here, if you do all those things on the regular, you'll be okay because you'll know the right lead flow that you need for your situation to book 30%. And then guess what? Some weeks you might be a little higher than 30%. Some weeks you might be a little lower. Now, I'll throw this out there. All year long, there are different times of the year where things come up, right? So we're going into Thanksgiving, and then you're going to go into the Christmas holiday. So what are you going to get? You're going to get more excuses about, let's get it over with after the new year. We can't do it now. We're buying gifts or this, that, and the other, okay? So you might, during those times, or I'll give you another time, for instance, the heavy weeks of vacation in July, right? Those weeks you might have to just go a little bit higher in leads to counteract because if you want to be consistent, you need to always understand that you're counteracting any other things that are going on. And there's always going to be things going on. So you can counteract it with your lead flow and then understand also that you have lead flow that you can go back to, because when you call Mary and she says, I can't get together this week because it's Thanksgiving, you have her for next week. So just adjust. So this way you don't have a down week and you can continuously have fairly consistent weeks, no matter what is going on, time of year, holidays, vacation time, whatever. So now we're sitting down. It's 8 a.m. It's time to dial. You have to attack the phone, okay? You can't be timid about it. You need to say, I'm going to dial this phone as many times as it takes to book my appointments. And then what's going to happen is if you start out and you have to dial a lot, you're going to really hone in on what we're going to talk about here, where you're going to make sure that you're getting better at the phone. So this way you can cut your dial time down. And there's a couple of key things that we're going to talk about. And, I said I wanted to call this the unscripted phone script because I get a lot of questions about what's the best script. And there's not a right or wrong. If you have a great script and you do it every time and it works and you book a lot of appointments and sell a lot of insurance, keep doing that because that means it's working. And there's plenty of people at Family First Life who are doing that, and it's great, and I think you should run with it. I like to talk about the unscripted version of a phone script for this reason. For me, there's a lot of intangible on every single phone call. So therefore, I don't want to have a script that sounds the exact same each and every time, because each person, each client, each scenario, each phone call in my head is different. So I want to have a guide of things that I'm going to say and also how I'm going to say it and why I'm going to say it. I want to have a guide, but I don't want to have a script, because you're differentiating yourself from, again, the many people that will call our clients, right? There's going to be somebody calling them probably 5 times that same day talking about a car warranty, right? Who gets those? We all get the car warranty calls. We get them, constantly, right? It's a recorded thing. It sounds very telemarket-ish, and it is. So you need to sound different because, again, when we talk about I'm the local person, like, yeah, I'm the local person, Bob. Like, I live in your town, and, I'm near you, and I just need to find 15 minutes to go over this with you. So you got to differentiate yourself from others. You got to get the nerves out. And the nerves go out when you have a good flow. So a couple things to start, using different types of phone systems, Google Voice, Burner, Phone Burner, My Pseudo is one. You want to make sure that you can create multiple different phone numbers, and you can create phone numbers in different area codes, because obviously we're running leads in different area codes. So this way, when Bob and Mary get a call and I'm in Broward County, they're getting a call from Broward County. And then if I need to go back to them and I couldn't get them, then I'm going to maybe use something different, use a different number. So this way, I want to have the element of surprise. That's another thing here with the phone that we're going to talk about. There's got to be an element of surprise, because I need to take control on the phone, and I have to first get people on it. So if I got to kind of finagle my way to do that, I'm going to finagle my way to do that, because that's what it's going to take us where we're looking to go, right? All right, so let's get into it here. So the unscripted phone script, right? So number one, we talked about your lead flow and then the correct posture on the phone, right? So when I talk about posture to me is your tonality, what you're saying, why you're saying it, how you're saying it, okay? So if I'm starting out my phone script and I'm saying, Bob, so Bob answers the phone. Hello, Bob? I just asked Bob a question. I didn't say, hey, Bob, this is Steve getting back to you regarding the mortgage protection. Click, because that's what I'm going to get. But if it's Bob, there's intrigue, right? So Bob wants to know who's calling him, right? So now Bob, he'll say to me, yes, and he's kind of like thrown off, right? And that's another thing that I want us to understand here. People are trying to throw you off. You need to honestly try and throw them off, right? Because it goes back to control. So when I ask Bob his name like that, and then he responds, then I could say, hey, Bob, this is Steve. It's getting back to you in regards to the mortgage protection form you sent in. I'm the local underwriter assigned to help you. I have your date of birth as 5/1/71. Is that correct? So in my statement, I was clear, I hope, concise, not talking too fast, but talking fast enough to where he can't rebuttal. And then I'm getting to the question. The question is his date of birth. So now obviously I know his name, I know his date of birth. In his head, he's saying, oh, okay, like this person calling me is meant to be calling me, right? It's not, I'm not throwing a lot of stuff at him that he might not recognize. And that's important because I want key phrases and recognition points, because then it's not like I'm some weird dude just calling him. I'm calling him for a reason, right? So I get to that point, and then he's either going to agree or not agree. But typically, we're playing percentages. He's going to say, that's correct. Now, he might throw something at me, right? So a smooth transition is important, because if he throws me a haymaker, I can't get knocked out. Because if I get knocked out, I'm getting hung up on. So a thing that I need everybody to really think about and focus on with the phone, and it's something that you have to do and practice, it's a smooth transition. In your head, say to yourself, no matter what they tell me, I'm going to have a smooth transition no matter what. If it's not interested, no, whatever it is, I'm going to have a smooth transition to acknowledge what they said, but then get right back on the horse to what's the next question and the next thing that I'm trying to get done. Because, again, I'm in control, and I have the agenda of what we're looking to do. All right, so now we talked about attacking the phone. We're attacking it. We're going after it. We're ready to dial all day long. We're ready to dial it as much as humanly possible. We're not afraid of it. So attacking the phone, playing offense, not playing defense. Talked about it before on this podcast. In general terms, in this business, you have to play offense. If you're going to be a defensive player, it's going to be hard. But if you can just bang, 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 what's next, what's next, what's next? If you can play that game and you play offense, you'll win. How many times do you watch a football game and the team that's up, all of a sudden they're up by 3 touchdowns, and they just play this defensive, they sit back, they stop doing the things that they did to get the lead, they change it up, and they're just not aggressive. And guess what happens? The other team gets stuck in the game, they stay in the game, and then the team that was winning loses the game because they played defensively. That's how you have to look at the phones, this business, everything. You have to play offense, an offensive game. If you can play an offensive game, you'll win. So attacking the phone goes without saying. So talked about an uninterested tone. I don't want to come across as interested. I want to come across as it's my job to be calling you. You hate your job, Bob. I hate my job. It's Monday morning. I don't want to be here. I just want to get this call over with. I want to figure out when you're going to be home so I get the insurance, right? Because then I'm not a sales guy. I'm not a high octane. I'm coming at you. You know, I want to sell you, the greatest insurance policy in the world. I'm not interested, Bob. So you need to keep your level of tonality here and not here. And that can be hard sometimes. It can be very, very hard because, if you dialed the phone 30 times and got nothing and then you get something, what happens? I'm excited. Don't be excited. Don't be excited about anything, ever. Keep it moving. Be excited about what your bank account's going to look like in the mornings when you wake up after you've done this for a few months. Be excited then. Be excited for 5 minutes. Great. Awesome. What's next? That's the way you have to look at the business. That's the way you have to look at the tone on the phone, because the less interested you are, the more interested they'll be. Let them kind of come to you. You know, you're setting the tone as to what's next. And if you're crazy, high octane interested, you're going to lose, because they don't want to deal with that. They just want to deal with, oh, the guy's getting back to me regarding the insurance. Oh, okay, cool. This is the process, whatever. Another big thing is have your process and don't differentiate from your process. Now, of course, right now, you know, with the COVID component, with the fact that we do some stuff virtually, that we do some stuff over the phone, which is fine. I always looked at it this way. I want to book my appointments, and I don't want to make that many exceptions to do things over the phone or by Zoom. In my opinion, if there's no other way, sure, then I'm going to do it. That's fine. And we're obviously doing it now. It's cool. It's easy. It's a simple process. But figure out what you're doing. You know, like for me, I'm pretty much, for the most part, 90% in the field and like 10% call transfers. But I'm trying to book the appointment unless I absolutely cannot. I cannot do it. If there's other things and other factors and then I have to do it, it's fine. So my point would be, keep your process, and just don't differentiate from your process, and let people know what your process is, why you have to come out, why we got to go through this, what it's going to look like, what the reasoning is, and then people understand. All right, so taking control, it's a game of control. If you let people take control on the phone, you're going to lose. Flat telling you you're going to lose. People want to do things on their terms. Don't let them. You got to let people think they're in control while you are in control, right? So it goes back to the uninterested. You know, if you're trying to book an appointment and the point is to go out there and see them, you got to say some things like, yeah, like this is the process. I work as a broker. It's going to meet you about 15 minutes. That's what the company makes us do. It's really simple. Just got to see if you qualify. Who's your beneficiary? I love saying who's your beneficiary and throwing it in at inopportune, I should say, times, because it brings it to death. And as callous as it to say, you know, in what we do, you're never going to get people to move unless you talk about death. You're just not. Sorry to break it to everybody. You got to talk about death. That's what it is, what we do, talking about death. So if I'm sitting there and I ask you, when you're giving me a hard time or you're throwing some stuff at me, if I ask you what's what, and I then ask who's your beneficiary, now we just tap the nerve of the person that you're looking to take care of. So you know what happens? Your guard comes down. You're going to give me less nonsense, and you're going to let me get back into the routine of what I need to do, because ultimately what we're doing and why we're doing it is to protect a loved one. So you have to throw that in there, you know. And we'll go back to kind of, you know, where I was a little bit before, where it was, you know, date of birth with Bob, right? And now I confirm his address. Hey, Bob, we got you at 123 Main Street in Coral Springs, Florida. Is that correct? Oh, that's correct. Oh, what is this again for? Why do we got to do this? What are you calling me for? Oh, this is for the mortgage protection that protects you and your beneficiary if you die. Who's your beneficiary again, Bob? So now I flipped the script because I took it to death. I took it to the beneficiary. I took it to the reason why he filled it out. And that's a key component, because it's going to keep them on the phone. It's going to keep them engaged, and it's going to keep them going in the direction that you're looking for them to go. All right. quick transition. Don't get thrown off. Kind of just talking about it here. So probably the hardest thing to learn, and it comes with practice. You know, you're not going to learn it overnight, is the transition, right? And not getting thrown off. So obviously one of the transitions that I talked about was asking about the beneficiary, because a beneficiary is going to take it to death, and it's going to make it where the client is going to think about why they filled it out, right? So kind of be prepared in your head with the most common things you're going to hear. So this way, when people hit you with them, you've got something to hit back with, right? Like, oh, can't you just send me a quote? Yeah, I wish I could. But my job is to just come out and see if you actually qualify. I'm going to be on the block tomorrow. What time do you get home from work? So I acknowledge what they said, but then I just got back into what my process is, because that's what my process is. That is what I'm looking to accomplish. We need to meet. We need to go through it. We need to get covered, right? And I did it and reacted quick, got to the next thing, right? And then it took me to where I want to go, because people want to be led. We need to tell them where we need them to go. And you'd be shocked when you tell people why and how and what we're doing and why we're doing it, they'll do it. It's amazing, right? Questions. This is a big one for me, right? So when you're talking the phone script, right? Like we said earlier, everybody has a phone script. Everybody does it different ways, and that's cool. My thing is always, I want to end every statement with a question. And why is that? Because if I talk at you on the phone, what's going to happen is we're going to have conflict, right? We're going to be going back and forth, tit for tat. Don't want that. But if everything, at the end of everything that I say, I ask you something, your typical reaction will be to answer the question, right? You're going to answer what I've asked you. Now, you got to make your questions things that are pertinent to booking the appointment, right? So the first thing we said, the date of birth. Then we said the address. Then we asked about the beneficiary. And then I'll ask, what time are you typically home from work? Or we'll go back. Are you working or retired, right? What time do you typically get home from work if you're working? Do you do anything in the day if you're retired? Do you have any doctor appointments? It's a question. They have to answer it. And guess what? If they work and I say, what time are you typically home from work? Oh, 6. Well, guess what? No matter what happens on this call, I then know that I have this person typically home at 6 o'clock. And even if they hang up on me right now, in my day, in the field, in my door knocks, cool. Now I can go see them at 6:30 because they're home at 6 o'clock because they told me they were. So focusing on everything being a question at the end of your statements on the phone will condition people to answer the question. And another piece of all this, I'd say, would be you don't want to be talking too much, right? Less is more. Less is more, because if you have too many words, you lose people. You want to have enough so they understand why you're calling, and then they'll understand where we're looking to go and what needs to be done here, right? Okay, so we got eye on the prize, the appointment. This is a big one. The only good thing that's going to happen on the phone is booking the appointment. I don't need all your medications. I don't need your health. I don't need all this. I don't. I need to know, when are you home? When can I come by to see you? And how we can make this happen. I don't need everything else. I just want to know when you're home so we can book the appointment. That's the only thing that matters. So if you can focus on that, it's going to lend you to having success, because now you don't got to worry about all the stuff that doesn't matter. You're worried about, when are they home and when can I see them? Because, again, I got my eye on the prize, which is the appointment. And the appointment count is what takes you there. So I'm going to kind of quickly go through this again. If I'm calling Bob, Hey, Bob, this is Steve. I'm getting back to you in response to the mortgage protection or whatever type of lead it is form that you sent in. I'm the underwriter assigned to help you. Just want to confirm I have your date of birth 5/1/71. Is that correct? Correct. Cool. Got you over at 123 Main Street. Is that correct? Correct. Oh, what's this for again? Oh, this is for the form you mailed in for the mortgage protection that pays off the house if you die or get sick, and gives you, living benefits if something happens to you for your beneficiary. Who's your beneficiary going to be? See, even I stumbled there. See that? But my point of all of it is I keep going through and transitioning to take me to the appointment, right? Are you working or retired, Bob? Oh, I'm working. All right, terrific, awesome, me too. What time do you normally get home? I got a couple of clients over that way tomorrow. So there's some psychology around what I'm saying because I'm just trying to figure out when he's home, right? And then I want to go see him. And then the tie down, right? So once we've gotten some agreement on an appointment, then do you live in a gated community, Bob? Is there a gate code? Can I park in the driveway or the street? You want to make it so real that they're not confused that you're coming to their house to get them insurance, right? So you're just making it crazy real. And you keep saying little things like that. And you know what's cool is you'll get people that'll start giving you directions and, oh, you're going to pass this and you're going to see this. And do you like dogs? And are you okay with them? Whatever. Because you're making it so real. And then I love to give people a confirmation code at the end. Hey, again, my name is Steve, Bob. I'm going to see you tomorrow, Tuesday at 6. Write down this code for me. Because, again, there's a psychology around I've already told you to do something and you did it, right? So then it's going to now lend itself into the appointment because now in the appointment, they're conditioned that when you tell them to do something, they'll do it. So when you say, hey, Bob, go get me your check account so we can submit the application and get you covered, they're going to be conditioned to do it. It's like Pavlov's dogs, right? You tell them what to do enough times, they're going to do it. So you're doing that, you're tying down, and then just I look forward to meeting and helping you. Simple. And then that's it. Don't go more. Don't go too deep. Don't get too excited. Cool. Got an appointment. Great. Put on my calendar. Next. Keep dialing. Because you don't have enough yet, right? You need 15. We got one. So I think a lot of this with the phone, some trial and error, some doing it, some figuring it out as you go. But ultimately, you have to kind of follow the unscripted phone script to have crazy success because everything is centered around what you say, how you say it, and taking people to the appointment. Now, another thing I'm going to leave everybody with would be this. If I told you earlier before that 30% was going to be what you booked, that would mean 70% are going to give you a hard time. They're going to hang up on you, curse at you, yell at you. They're not interested, blah, 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 right? Don't worry about 70%. Focus on the 30. You bought enough leads. You have a correct phone posture. Don't worry about the people that don't want to deal with you. Because guess what? They might have had a bad day. You can call them the next day. You can door knock them. Sometimes it's just not the right time. I've had plenty of sales and plenty of appointments, and they didn't want to do something on Monday, and then they wanted to do something on Thursday, and they were nasty on Monday. It is what it is. And then some people just aren't going to do anything. There's that percentage too, believe it or not. It is what it is. But focus on the ones that want you. Focus on the 30%. But don't let the 70% create emotional instability because it's going to hurt you in the long run on the phone. Because no matter if 3 to 4 people said no in a row, you're worried about the next one that's going to say yes. So just always keep that top of mind. And look, let the phone be your guiding light to financial security and to booking a ton of appointments and meeting a lot of people and selling a lot of insurance. But you have to structure it all the correct way. And if you do that, I promise you, you'll have a lot of success. And you're going to have some ups and downs. You're going to have some trials and tribulations. You're not going to have, some days are going to be better than others on the phone. It is what it is. You just focus on you and getting better at it and doing it. The biggest thing, the biggest reason people fail is they don't do it enough. So I hope this helps. Look forward to seeing everybody back on the podcast next week. Thank you for all you do. Have a great week. Take care.